What is up, everyone? After Midnight Confessions here, and today I have some crazy confession stories. These are stories about cheating, relationships, and much more. We are going to dive right into it, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, and let's get started. I found my wife on a dating site. My wife, 45 female, and I, 44 male, have been married for 10 years and are together for 16 years. We have 3 kids together, we are good friends and get along well, but our sex life has taken a hit over the past 2 years. I will say the blame lies between us. So, a few weeks ago, I was using my wife's phone to bounce some money around in Venmo, and I noticed she had a dating website in Recents. I clicked the link and found out she had messaged some men. She had exchanged numbers with some. I confronted her, we discussed our issues above. In a very honest, emotional conversation, she deleted her account and we agreed to work on our marriage through counseling. I later learned that she had texted and called some of these men. So I was checking her phone and found the deleted texts in the recently deleted text folder. She does not know I found those deleted texts. I am split on if me finding these texts are making me feel better or not, as I read and saw some shit I would rather never see again. At least I know what was said, but it does not make it hurt any less. I am torn. Technically everything that happened is pre-affair and she said it stopped, but I feel like a fool for wanting to work things out. I'm swinging back and forth mentally from wanting to call it quits to wanting to work it out. The things I read and saw hurt really bad, I'm not going to lie. Although nothing physically happened, I certainly can't feel the difference emotionally. Man, that's tough, man. I mean, I'm actually married as well. And if my wife was on some dating website, I would not be happy. I definitely don't know how I would respond to. So, let's check out some of the comments. So, one commenter said, you have to decide whether you want to stay or not. You being on the fence will hinder you more than anything she says/does. And not making it a solid decision will ultimately lead to the demise of the relationship and your mental health. If you decide to stay, you need to be 100% sure about it. You can't just keep worrying if she's doing it again. You have to make the decision to trust her until it is no longer a decision and is a solid feeling. Being 100% means also being completely honest with her and yourself. So yes, bring up the texts. Don't make it about her. Make it about your feelings and how you're trying to cope with it. Maybe it will lead to openness from her that will make you feel a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting you forgive her. I'm not suggesting you leave. You cannot farm out this decision to anybody, including majority rules, on a public forum like here. If you leave, you need to be 100% about that too. If you leave, then come back, it shows a weakness that will keep her at arm's length for whatever the duration of your relationship. Take a little time and figure out if this relationship is worth the work. Because yes, it is very possible to move forward and to build that trust, but it is a lot of work. Not just for her either. Trust is a bridge that's impossible to build alone. You both need to be all in or all out. There is no in between here. The work required to heal and rebuild is immense, not just for her either. You will have to confront your uncomfortable feelings and the resulting insecurities and find ways to cope with them in a healthy and effective manner. I feel for you, dude. Keep your head up and I wish you the best in whatever decisions you make. Yeah, honestly, it's a very difficult situation. If I would think about my personal relationship with my wife, the only thing I say to her that, would completely destroy our marriage is if she would cheat. So I think for me it would be a difficult, but also at the same time an easy decision. and pick for yourself, man. I think that's definitely the better choice here. I am madly in love with my stepsister. My family and hers have a very complicated history per se. Both of our sets of biological parents were best friends with the others set for multiple years before either of us were born. Unfortunately, her dad was on a military base many states away for the first few years of our lives. So, I only sort of know her for the first few years. The day I first remember knowing her was on a rainy day in early spring when we visited her family for the first time. We started a Minecraft world together and spent 16 hours consecutively playing on said world, building a house together. Later that week, we went to Disney, and to this day, the only thing I remember of that trip was her falling asleep on my shoulder on the way home. That's super cute. Her family eventually moved to my state when we were around 10, and our families went back to being best friends, and we quickly grew inseparable. For years, we spent nearly every minute doing everything and anything for multiple hours a day before, during, and after school. We were so close at this time that our moms used to joke that we acted more like siblings than our actual biological siblings. All of our Halloween costumes matched. Our favorite foods meshed well with each other. We would influence our parents to drink more so we could spend more time together. We taught each other everything we knew about the world and then some. And most importantly, we always accepted each other in an environment where we were both the odd ones out. Around 5 years ago, her parents decided to get divorced after years of fighting and arguing with no solution. This devastated her. The girl I once knew as so outgoing and goofy became more recluse and suddenly cared very much about how everyone else looked at her. She fell into a strong addiction to alcohol for years, and I was powerless to help. Watching her struggle with things neither of us understood was crushing. 6 months later, my parents also decided to split. It was for the best, and it should have happened years ago, and did not affect me very seriously at the time. Before my parents' split had even been finalized, my dad started dating her mom. That's crazy. Less than a year later, they moved in together and started seeing the six of us, me, her, and our other siblings, as one family. Suddenly, the girl that I had been madly in love with since I knew what the world truly meant was my stepsister. Since that day, I've tried so very hard to do everything I could to suppress my love for her. Every romantic partner I have had in this time has never eclipsed my love for her, and I only really loved the qualities of them that reminded me of her. I felt like I was forever chasing a mouse without a set of claws to kill it. On New Year's Eve, our parents decided to get together for the holidays and have everyone over. I spent the night hanging out with her and my other siblings as normal, and across the years I have grown much better at suppressing how I actually feel about her so nothing was out of the ordinary. Everyone eventually started drinking except for me and became extremely drunk by around 2 a.m. January 1st. Dad and stepmom were asleep, so I was the only one able to put everyone to sleep and clean up the mess. I put my brothers and stepbrothers to bed one by one and eventually attempted to put her to bed. In her drunken state, she finally admitted to me that she has loved me all of these years, and she used so many specific memories that it was most definitely not just drunken thoughts. We ended up crying in a hug on the floor of the kitchen for hours, talking about how unfair it was that we will never be able to be together because of the circumstances of her mom and my dad being together. After a 3-hour heart-to-heart and many tears shed, I was able to finally get her to bed. She begged me to finally kiss her after all these years, but I refused as she was still drunk and I didn't want our feelings to get more intense for each other and ruin the family as a whole. The next morning she woke up and does not remember anything that happened that night. At least she claims, but I don't believe it. The spark that has always been in her beautiful eyes is burning brighter than ever, and I don't know how much longer I can live with this pain. I don't know if she's ever loved me the way I love her, but I will never do anything to compromise our family or hurt her. I'm just so tired of living without being able to express my love. Whew. Wow, that is a difficult one, guys. Yeah, the OP is definitely like head over heels in love, and it sucks. It sucks. You can't be together because your parents are, now married or together, and you guys being together would just create more friction, create, I guess, weirdness in the family. But I mean, you're not biological, you're not brother and sister biologically, so I would say, why not go for it? Why not just go for it? Well, anyway, let's see what the people in the comments have to say about this. So, OP, this is actually far more common than you realize. Where your post differs, I think, from typical scenarios is that you showed great restraint in not wanting to take advantage of her drunken state. This tells me your feelings for her are more pure than selfish. That plus, I will never do anything to compromise our family or hurt her. What the Greek philosophers would call agape. For those curious for a philosophical drive, see the link. You sound like you genuinely care about her. I suspect claiming she doesn't remember is a way of saving face, but intoxication doesn't manufacture feelings, but rather ease their expression. 2 things I want you to consider, not necessarily to respond here, but to really ponder and think about. The first is, what are your feelings on the matter? Is there platonic love for a sister or something more passionate? If the former and not the latter, then you need to steer clear of pursuing anything. Hugs are okay, especially if followed up with a reminder, I love you sister, rather than her name. This allows you to remind her that you love her like a sister, not like a girlfriend. You still get to express your love, but steer it in a controlled direction. Second thing to consider, and I will raise it because you said that you don't want to hurt her. I think when she says, I'm just so tired of living without being able to express my love, if you do love her in a romantic way, she's already hurting from the circumstances of not being able to be together. The key thing is that you haven't said your age. And I don't know whether we are talking about teenagers or actual adults. If teens, wait a few years until over the age of consenting your country and then leave home. Pursue a life together, initially in secret until you're sure it's true love, then forget cultural conventions. The taboo of stepchildren hooking up does not transcend to all cultures, and pursue the heart. You'll both be happier. I must say I totally agree, and I hope that you guys will be together, and you guys have a good future together, of course, if you're over the age of 18, but wow, that was a great comment. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today. Like if you liked the video, subscribe for more. There's going to be a lot more videos like this, also crazier videos. And I'll see you next time.